After such a very long time, there is finally a breakthrough with the bees. I've managed to make my first scented panels, the only way I know to create the alvery. Mass production is now going ahead, and I have automated it. It has been a long side quest, but it was important to my early goals that I take the time to complete this stage. Now with the bees running at a very high production rate, I can return to the fields and begin planting. Perhaps I am jumping ahead a little. There is still more work to be done, but the land is ready to plough, and I can work in the fields and prepare for that day when it comes. Now then, welcome back to another episode of A Druid's Tale. Hi Flutterby. Bye Flutterby. Well, not a great deal of progress has happened since the last episode, but a few bits and pieces have gone on. These are now set up and running nicely. I still haven't finished all the way down, but it's kind of pointless when the trees aren't this far down themselves. The bees are pollinating these trees, which is kind of awkward because I didn't really want that to happen. And I'm guessing that that's going to be a little bit different. But still, anyway, there's my treeanizer. There we go. I've been checking all these trees out just to make sure to see what they are. This is a silver birch hybrid. Okay. And then I'm putting them away. This is tier 1. So this is apple, silver, red spruce jungle, and dark oak. And these are the basics. And then there's all the types, the crossbreeds that we've potentially got. And then we've got crossbreeds in here now as well. I originally just had the basics, and then I've got a crossbreed of the lime and a crossbreed of the larch. And I've got to be very careful not to take away all the leaves, haven't I, really? I can sculpt them back slightly, but as soon as I've sculpted them back too far, then they're going to start looking odd. They're going to start looking odd. Now, the Civ upgrade and the production upgrade and everything that's going on up there in all of those is doing a good job of making resources, lots of resources. Now, I've emptied this a few times, taken the combs out, gone and put the combs somewhere safe. Many times over already, I've been and gone and done this, and I've had to readjust my entire setup down here to make sure that I can cope with it because the refined relocation problems. So I've basically just given up on refined relocation, and I've started just using thermal dynamics pipes because at the end of the day they work. They do the job that they're supposed to do. They work. And so let's just pop these in here and get those figured out as well. There we go. Alright, so yeah, it's a very simple process. Everything's working just the way it used to. I've got storage that's now actual storage. Man, I had so many problems with that refined relocation piping. I had refined relocation piping bringing stuff from here, and it would go, there was a box here that was bringing it from that side, and there were the items would go this way, and then down that way, and then back up, and then down this way, then back that way, and down that way, and back up, and down that way. Even though the barrel was just over there. As soon as I placed a barrel here, it goes, oh, there's stuff there, hey, and I take the barrel away quickly, and it goes all the way down there to that. So it wasn't registering the barrels further away than the input. So it was bouncing back to an input, bouncing back between inputs, instead of going down to the nearest output. The nearest output being a barrel. Whereas thermodynamics pipes all work beautifully as always. That's awesome, isn't it? Oh yeah, it's episode 60. Oh yes, episode 60. Congratulations to me, it's a milestone. Thank you very much for your likes and your comments and all of your interactions during the season so far. The thing that I want to do today is get rid of some of these old drones, right? Old drones. I've got so many old drones. Old bees that are no use to me whatsoever. Now, I've got purpose for them in a way with Gendustry. I can take out their identities. I can take all of their traits and put them onto bits and pieces, right? So that's cool. I want to do that. So I'm not going to just dump every single bee I've got, but I've got lots in there. And after clearing out all of my hives over here until I've got the 3 basics on each side, so I've got the forest line, the meadows line and the rocky line on this side. And then over the other side, I've got the magic bees that you can find out in the wild. Just the ones you can find out in the wild that live in this environment. So the winter bees and the desert bees, they are going to have their own biome type, and I'll have Mistcraft portal dimension door across to them. And have a similar setup, but over in that side instead. And when I was emptying them all out, I ended up with all of this lot. Loads and loads of extra bees, all these sorcerer drones and all that, because they've been going through so many cycles and so on. I mean, I've got spare queens now as well. I've got spare forest queen and imperial queen, which will go up into here in the next 2 slots. But the main reason I want to get rid of drones, or the ability to get rid of drones in a useful manner, is long term. Short term, I can find their traits and keep them imprinted so I can make the perfect bees and stuff. But for now, I want to just get rid, because in here, any excess bees from all of these down here, any excess bees will come into here and clog up my system. Now, as you are aware, the uses of royal jelly are few and far between. Here we go. The main thing that I'm using the royal jelly for is to have the scented panels. So, scented panels require the pollen and the royal jelly from the bees that are being produced in this tree place, yes, in the arboretum. The beeswax will come from the combs that get processed in the arboretum. And then the wood, well, we're going to need to make a little wood farm. It also requires honey. So the beeswax and the honey will go in to make the carpenter work to make scented panels. So what I want to do is try and automate making scented panels. All I'll have to add is the wood, right? So the combs come in, we have to process the combs, the royal jelly comes in, and the pollen comes in. We're going to use the bits from the combs and all of these bits and dispose of the bees. So hopefully I can have a nice little compact system that just sort of automates itself and then outputs both mana from the bees being melted down in Botania Begonia, and also the output of the scented panels for me to make my alvarez. Yeah? So the begonia is first thing that I'm going to make and get that set up just to keep that flowing first. Drones are the foundation of the healthy colony's future, but really, they can start to just piling up to the point where you don't know what to do with them anymore. Yep, I'm kind of there. That's kind of where I'm at. The begonia is a solution to the problem of overcrowding. Simply toss your spare drones in their vicinity and they will reclaim the life force within the drone and convert it into mana. And they aren't terribly picky. They will produce a constant amount of mana while they work, though it does seem more complex bees provide more mana than mundane bees, whatever that means. So the begonia is what we need to make today in order to get that sorted out. One more thing before we go and make the begonia and start doing the automation, setting things up. I have set up the trees over here, and it doesn't look like they're doing any good right now, but I'm cross-pollinating oak with birch. Oak and birch have a chance of making willow, and willow is the only tier 2 tree that I currently don't have in my collection. So I need to get some of those, but apart from that one block there that I've just spotted and this one block here, there doesn't seem to be much activity. I've only recently planted these, so I can't expect for the most activity in the world, but there we go. That's just another silver birch sapling, see? So yeah, we've got cross-pollination going on, but there's only a small chance of getting a willow. So I'll keep up with that a bit later on. In fact, let me just dump this over in the chest over here. No chest anymore. I broke the chest, brought all the bits and pieces back over this side, because I was sick of running backwards and forwards, and now I'm running backwards and forwards. Awesome job, Nemsun. Right, put that in there, and, well, I'll put that in there for check-in later. Okay, what am I eating today? Check this out. I'm eating veggie stir-fry, mixed salad, and stuffed eggplant, as well as my survival ration of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I've been using my kitchen to make some strange bits and pieces. Anything that I can make now can go in the lunchbox. So I'm having a varied diet, which I'm sure many of you will enjoy knowing that I'm having a varied diet. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about any more about the food and stuff, but yeah, varied diet is nice. Oh, and another thing that I've noticed in an update just recently, recently I say, let's see, yeah, there we go. Previously, the only way you could plant seeds was on crops. The only way you could plant seeds was on crops. But that looks like it's been changed for the better, and now I can plant seeds down actually where they're supposed to go. So just planting seeds in the ground just basically means that whatever seed it is, it's not going to mutate or set up weeds or anything like that. The only way to cultivate and mature and mutate seeds and plants is by using the crop sticks. But I can plant out fields and fields and fields of all these different vegetation that I was going to be doing. I was planning it from the very start, and then I found out that you could only plant them on crop sticks. And I didn't really fancy making fields and fields and fields of irrigated farmland, should I say, and then have to put crop sticks down before I could place a single seed. I wanted just like stacks of seed and just spread the seeds around over my fields and have it all work properly. And now that's been fixed, it means that some of the local terrain around the area, like all of these areas around here, around my farm, can actually start becoming a farm. I can actually start farming properly. I've got a load of 10-10-10 seeds, which basically have been giving me enough stock to be able to make a load of seeds. Just generally so that I can plant big fields of 1-1-1s. I don't need 10-10-10s in the fields. I was just looking for 1-1-1s in the fields, but the 10-10-10s give me an adequate stock so that I can make plenty of things before then. Alright, spell check, thank you very much for your help. You can stay there and you can keep your feathers to yourself. So we're going to do some Botania today. And I've only got as much mana as I've got because my day blooms have run out. Another kind of thing that went on with the update is that passive generation only lasts for 3 days. So I need a better system up there as well to gain mana. But at the minute, this is very full. I've got this set up here that can give me a boost of mana when I need it. Just throw some coal on it. So I'm okay. I just don't have that passive mana generation anymore on the ceiling, keeping it full while I'm away. But anyway, let's make ourselves the one begonia that we're going to make, because I only think I'm going to need one, to be honest. We're going to require 3 yellow mystic petals and a yellow mana petal and a black and 2 white. Okay, do I already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 white and a black? Yes, I do. Yeah, looks good. So it was 1 was the mana and 1 yellow was mana, I think. 1 yellow mana 1, yeah, and 1 white mana 1, yeah. And the black is mana as well. Okay, I nearly didn't spot that because it doesn't have an outline around it, because it's an outline of the same colour. Surprise, surprise. Okay, so that is good. So that one goes in as well, and we'll have a mana of each of these. These shouldn't use up any mana, really, should they? So we should just be able to drop them down and get a mana variety of those. Okay, so double check what we got. 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. Okay, so 1 of each yellow can go in. I thought there was a quick key for this. Never mind. That white and that. Then there's 3 yellow. There's a black mana and a yellow mana. And then a seed. Give me a seed. Thank you. And we pop the seed in. And boom. We get a begonia. So the begonia is very, very useful for getting rid of all my bees and generating mana at the same time. I may as well. There is no reason why I shouldn't, really, is there? How much living rock have I got? I've got enough living rock, but do I have a mana pool? Ah, I've already got a mana pool. Good, good. So we'll get a mana pool. That's good. Ender flame. Yeah, we don't need any more of that stuff. Okay, so we've got the mana pool, we've got the begonia. I think I just need a spreader, don't I? Yes, I might take that spreader, actually, because that spreader's going to be no more use to me up there. And swap that around and have a block there instead now. Just the one, please, thank you. Put that up there. Come on, jump. There we go. And put the rest away. Alright, so yeah, that kind of puts my seeding back in place, and I'm not using the passive generation anyway, so yeah, I'll just use that up on this project. I'm also going to need some other bits and pieces for taking care of the bees' produce. Alright, so the next thing I need to craft up is, well, I need another bee type, so I'm going to be doing it through Gendustry. We need cultivated and common drone together to make a diligent, and I hope, beyond hope, that this is going to do the job that I think it's supposed to do. Diligent queen. And then once the diligent queen is a princess, then I can make it into an unweary. Hopefully. Having the stock available is nice, but I would like to just get the first one on the go, and then I want to go for pristine after that. So let's just take this it out of there, and put that in for one cycle. Should make stringy. Well, that's the thing. And get rid of the stringy combs. And then I should have a princess of the diligent that I can use for the dronage here, and add to the drone. A diligent princess and an unweary drone should make an industrious, yes, an industrious queen. Let's hope so. Okay, so now I've got my diligent princess and an unweary drone. I should be able to make an industrious queen, which is awesome. So that now will make me the pollen that I'm going to need to make the final piece of the puzzle work. I'm going to have to do that a few more times. So I've got this diligent drone here, which I'm just going to store away nice and safe in there. I've got 2 diligent drones. So all I need is a couple of unweary princesses, and I can do the whole process without doing the diligent side of things first. It would be good if I could get pristine stock. That would be very good if I could get pristine stock. But I don't know if that's possible just yet. Right. Now the next thing. These forest queens and drones that I've been putting in down here, I need those replacing with industrious. So what I'm going to take them out quickly and put the industrious in there. Now the industrious should produce the pollen. I believe that's the only way to produce the pollen that we need. And then the imperial is the only way to produce the royal jelly that we need. So between the two, if I swap out all the forest for industrious, even though this is ignoble and that's pristine, I'll try and change it all to pristine stock industrious. All the way down here, then we should be doing the same thing, collecting the pollen and stuff, and pollinating areas like that. But also, we should be getting the pollen that we need. And I've started setting up the little system down here. I'm not 100% sure it's going to work the way I want it to right now, but this is what we got so far. We've got the input chest. So the input chest currently is keeping all of this old pollen, and it will keep all the bees that we don't want as well. So let's just put all the forest drones in there, and I'll put this princess to one side in case I need it later. So for instance, there we go. Right, so we've got forest drones and all these things not being extracted currently. On this side, we've got a centrifuge, and that is set up so that fuzzy, so it ignores metadata and MBT data, pulls combs out this side, which the combs then go into the centrifuge. Okay, I've still got propolis sitting there though. We've got to sort that out. And on this side, we've got royal jelly being pulled out. Royal jelly is going to come out this way, and once we've started receiving the pollen that we need, I will have that set up to pull out there as well. So then what happens here is the bee stuff, which is beeswax. Beeswax gets pulled out of the centrifuge and goes across this line as well. So they all end up going into here, the only location they can go in. They can't go into the squeezer because only honey drops and honey dew can go into the squeezer. And that's coming from the centrifuge that way. This way only allows it to go into the carpenter, so we end up with royal jelly, beeswax, and we're going to end up with pollen as well. Now the honey is simple enough. The honey stuff comes down into this squeezer, and I've got propolis left over, I know that much yet. I've put a block extender on to bring it down, so I've got access to it on more sides, because one side's power, one side's got that attached, one side's got that attached, and I need to get it over here. So I've got a liquid being extracted there, liquid honey coming in to keep this carpenter full. And at the minute, I've backed up backlog of honey because I had so much already in reserve. So many combs already needed processing and so on. So I've got a couple of places I need to get propolis out of. I've got a place up here where I need to get drones out of. And then I also need to get the first bit of that special pollen to come down here into this to make the carpenter, and then bring the scented panels out of. The scented panels don't really have a location for me to bring them out of, so I'm guessing that I'm going to have to come along here, put the wood in when I need it, and make the scented panels and take them out as I need them. So I'm going to need it to still have a little bit of manual. I'm not going to be able to do it fully charged. I could potentially bring a block extender down and then have another block extender there and then have it completely automating output and all that. But once I've made the scented panels, I don't really want it to be fully automated, because I'm not going to need scented panels forever and ever. I'm only going to need scented panels for as long as I need scented panels. So I'm also going to have to void out other bits and pieces from there later on as well. But still, we're okay for now. Okay, so fuzzy-wise here, we need to pull out a few other bits and pieces. I've had a few different setups here already. I'm going to want to pull out the bees. So we're going to need a fuzzy for drones. So item filter, we'll take that royal jelly out of there, and we'll put a drone in. So I'll take a drone out, put a drone in. So it will only try and pull drones out of the chest of any variety, and we'll have that coming this way out. And so that can then filter just drones. Thank you. Give me that back. Put that back in there. There we go. Yeah, so it's already starting to pull those drones out. I want to see if it pulls out any drones, so let's just get the Meadows drones as well, because why not? And put some Meadows drones in there, and then take these ones out. Yeah, it takes any drone out, thanks to the fuzzy upgrade in there. Which also means I've got a kind of a dump chest for any drones that I want to take out. Yeah. The next thing then is I need a little cycling system here so that I drop bees down. If they don't get disposed of straight away by the begonia, then they go back into a loop. And I think the only way to do that may be with a world interaction upgrade on there to go back into the loop and drop it down again. So I've got to figure out where I'm going to set that lot up now. I'm going to have this space out here for it, but I've got to figure out where I'm going to spot it out to. And I also want another thing to pull out those different pollen types. So I want a fresh item filter that doesn't have any any fuzzy or anything in, so it only pulls out the types that I don't want in there, that I want in another stockpile somewhere. So each time I get a new one, I'm going to have to add in another filter for it. But that's okay. So I've got those 4 at the minute that I'm going to filter out. And I just need another item transfer node and put that in. You see, now I'm getting complicated with all sorts of different places, aren't I? Let's go here and then filter that out that way. Yeah. And then I can put another chest on it. I should possibly use a filing cabinet, really, but still. I use another chest on it here. And put that against the side there, so that should then have all the pollen types slowly but surely being pulled out of there. Please. Please be true. That's dripping cones I put in there for some reason. That's that one. That's where it should be. I put the wrong one in. I don't know how I muxed that up, but I put the wrong one in. Yeah, now it starts filtering those out. That's good. And all of those will get stuck in there, so that then I can use that stock over here in the same way as I'm taking this stock out and using it to breed breeds of trees. Okay. All sorted that way. I want to tidy that little bit up a little bit more, though. I would like to tidy that up a lot more, really. Maybe I need a different kind of filter coming off one of them, just because it'll be easier if I've got maybe item ducts there, and then this can come down into another section. But we'll see. I'll mess around with it a little bit more later. First up, though, I've got to try and figure out how to have a little loop in the bees dropping out to make the most of this begonia. Alright, well, we're getting there. We're getting there. It seems safe enough to say that it's going to work. This transfer node up here is transferring out only drones, but it's ignoring metadata and MBT data, so it transfers out any drones. We know that. I've got an open crate up the top here, which just literally drops any item that's put in it down onto the floor here. One thing that I was just testing was to make sure that when it dropped, that a begonia was close enough if it was here as well as next to it. Just because I didn't know about the wall, and then I also went and made another begonia just to put that one down as well and show you how it's set up. See, this one is close to that spreader, so it's set itself up. So now those both begonias are pointing at that spreader. That spreader's pointing at this mana pool, and that mana pool will fill up from the bees, in theory. And they do so fairly quickly as well. So it's just going to start dropping as fast as the transfer node can transfer. But they are going to get eaten up by the begonias and put into there pretty fast. So every time we hear a burst, I think there's another one of the bees taken. These begonias don't seem to be like leveling up their mana base, but it's definitely going through the mana spreader. The mana spreader is filling up and transferring as fast as it can, and I think the bees are disappearing well within 5 minutes. If I've got 5 minutes of despawn time for these items, then I should be fine. Should be fine, because I'm not going to get that many in that amount of time. I don't know why that piece of pollen's up there, though. Did I just... a bee... a butterfly was there earlier. I don't know where that's come from. But anyway, there we go. That's that side sorted out. Now, the next thing that I want to sort out is getting the propolis out of these two devices, because it's going to get clogged up. It's going to spoil things. So... I'm going to bring that back out to me. This one is particularly honey dew and honey drops coming out. And I want to put on a block extender to that one so that I can access it from two directions. Okay, it really was that simple. It really was that simple. I literally get a servo on here pulling everything out. That servo puts things into the propolis in there, because the only two locations it's got is into this block extender, which goes into the squeezer, or into the barrel that's connected to the propolis. So there's only two places they can go, and propolis can't go in here, and honey drops and honeydew can't go in there. So it sorts itself out that way. And I've got this connected at the back here, which is just drawing only the propolis out of the squeezer, which should be the only thing it could pull anyway, but just to be on the safe side, I've put it in the servo as a whitelist. And then that goes down here, and the only way that can go anywhere is into the barrel. So in theory, that should be automation all good. Yeah, and that also leaves me with this one more block extender, which I could use to bring this down one, and then automate that final stage if I wanted, and bring something out here as well. But what would I bring out here, and how would I bring it out? If I did that, then I could automate. I could move that to between two extenders, and then I could have another transfer node bringing the end result out and up into a chest here or something for me. So I could put stuff in and take stuff out quite easily. I could even put wood in via a hopper or something. That could be another option. So there is a bit more that I can advance this and mess around with it a bit just to figure it all out. But generally, I'm going to have this pollen cluster. Yes, got it, get it, got it, good. Awesome. So now this, let's just disable it right there. Let's just take this filter out. This item filter should now only filter those two things. Oh my days, it's been a long time coming. Okay, so that's now royal jelly and pollen clusters. The other pollen is going out this way. Yeah, to come into here. So all the other pollen's coming out there. Those pollen clusters are only going out this way. Yes, yes, yes. And then they can only go down one way. So they come down into here. And that's where they're going to live. And then I put that in there like that. And it starts making the scented panels. Episode 60. 60 episodes it's taken me to get to the point where I can make scented panels. Oh, you lucky people. And of course, the uses of the scented panels, I need 8 per alvery block. Plus the impregnated casings, which I'm making elsewhere. But wow, that takes a lot. It doesn't take a lot when it's there, when I've got the pollen clusters. It doesn't take a lot when it's there, but still. The next thing to do is try and make sure that the royal jelly doesn't overflow and have more than I've got pollen. So I probably need to take some royal jelly out and start monitoring the production from these bees and make it balance out so that for every 1 pollen there's 1 royal jelly. Or if it's 2 to 1, then eventually this will get overrun with royal jelly. Eventually. That's the thing, yeah. So we should be okay, yeah. We've got missing resources, yeah, but we made our first 5 scented panels just while I was saying things. It's night again. So many nights where the bees aren't actually working. I will have to get some sleep. Thank you very much for watching another episode of A Druid's Tale, the climactic 60th episode, where we finally get scented paneling. And realise that we can plant the fields of farming technology type things that I've been working on ever since we started the series. Finally pushing forwards, finally getting somewhere. I will see you in the next episode and show you where we advance to next.